All right, message today. Ready for this? Life, it's not a game. It surely is not a game. We have looked at many, many cultural issues the last few weeks, and today in particular, I think can apply more to every age range and to us in general. So I'm excited about it. We have declared every week that our faith is not determined by our culture, but our faith is built on the foundation of the Word of God and the grace that is freely given to us through Jesus. Culture will change. Trends will change. But God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So today we're going to be talking about the impact technology has had in our world throughout history, some parenting and family issues that technology can create, and hopefully you will learn some practical boundaries about our use of technology, and hopefully not go home feeling like you should throw away your TV and your phone. Tim gave me this topic mainly because when he was growing up, the microwave wasn't invented yet. And yeah, he told me to say that, so you can laugh even harder. He gets it. But I really do hope that we better understand fully what I mean when I say technology. Okay, when I say technology, I do not just mean your cell phone, your TV, social media, or artificial intelligence. That is not just what I mean when I say technology. How many of you immediately when I said I'm talking on technology were like, oh yeah, my phone, right? Like, or TV, like that's what we think of when we think of technology. Our current context, our cultural context, that's exactly what our brains go to. For today, I want to talk about this working definition of technology. It's this. It says technology is any application of scientific knowledge to the practical aims of human life, or, as it's sometimes phrased, to have changed or manipulate the human environment. To have changed or manipulate the human environment. Anything and everything that changes the way we live is technology. Anything that makes our lives more convenient, easier, tools, language, electronics, heat, air, cars, planes, all of it. The chairs you're sitting in at one point were a marvel of technology. Someone probably put 4 sticks together, a little stump, and was like, I can sit. Right? We don't even think about it. If you're a history nerd like me who grew up watching the History Channel, you're going to like this. I looked at multiple articles, multiple studies done about different technological advancements done throughout history. And this was kind of like the top 5 from those articles that I pulled. You ready for this? The number 1 greatest piece of technology ever made, the printing press. It culturally changed how we live. How many of you guys would have picked that as your number 1? Right, very few of us. It changed everything. It changed how we communicate. It changed how we read. In the 1800s, only 12% of the world was literate that could read, write. I think we're up to like 88% of the world can read and write today. It literally changed how we communicate. Second was electricity and the light bulb. We understand that one. Third was the personal phone, computer, and internet that got lumped together. It has changed everything we do day in and day out. The fourth was the wheel. We love the wheel. We appreciate the wheel. But we are not in awe of what the wheel does for us anymore. At one time, people were. And then lastly was the fridge and the freezer. And we take these for granted. Okay? They actually weren't mass-produced until 1918. That's almost 100 years ago. It's not that long ago that we didn't have a fridge or a freezer in our house. That's by and large the top 5 in all of human history. It's crazy. None of us probably would have picked the phone, but none of us would have picked the other stuff. Right? We just don't think about technology in that way. It's crazy looking up just the printing press, how it's changed everything in 600 years. How did people copy things before the printing press? By hand, right? It would have taken so long to like recopy everything over and over and over again. The printing press literally changed how we copy things like books or decrees or news and how it's spread to other people, right? It literally is what single-handedly created things like the newspaper, in the news. It allowed people to have more access to things to read than ever before. And we're still feeling the effects of it today. The printing press allowed things like schools to use textbooks, people to read for fun, other than the royals or nobles that had money to pay tutors. It's changed everything. It's the biggest communication shift in human history besides radios, phones, and the internet. Just a few honorable mentions that have changed our world. Guns, antibiotics, movies, the camera, fire, airplanes, steam engine trains, boats, currency, indoor plumbing. The list goes on and on and on and on. And you can think of more technology when you start thinking about it other than a screen that lights up. Right? Technology is all around us, whether we realize it or not. And I hope today that you realize technology is not just your phone. We are living in the most technologically advanced society ever created in our day, in the 21st century. It moves so rapidly, it's frustrating. Right? How many of you, we've just been frustrated. My phone updates, I don't know where things are, I'm starting to sound old, it's okay. My computer wants me to update it and restart it in the middle of my workday, no thank you. Like, we just don't, there's no way we can keep up with all the stuff that's going on in our world. The updates, the media that gets put out, new shows that get put on Netflix. We can't keep up. Artificial intelligence, stuff's wild. It's absolutely mind-boggling what that stuff can do. I had it write me like a fake youth group sermon. It was crazy what it spit out. Like, it was pretty good. I would never use AI to write a sermon. Never. But it was wild. It was pretty crazy. You have billionaires that shoot rockets to space for fun just because he can. Right? You have phones that sit on your wrist. Crazy. It's crazy to think about the technology that is in our modern day world. And 100 years ago, we couldn't even keep our steaks frozen. It's wild. And we know that technology can be used for amazing, amazing, amazing things. But sometimes, when humans get involved, we don't. I want to look at the airplane, for example. The first flight was December 17th in 1903 by the Wright brothers. 1903. Very first flyable plane that could actually go and do something. You know what started in 1914 for all the history buffs out there? World War I. You know what they were using planes for by World War I? Throwing bombs off of them. 11 years. That's all it took for someone to say, we could use that. 11 years. Right? No one in their right mind, when these guys were test flighting, were like, yeah, we're going to put a bomb on that. Right? They were just like, this is crazy. You can fly. Let's use it for war. Right? We change how technology can use way faster than we can keep up with the technology. Right? It is crazy. When it comes to technology, some of us are just probably tired of hearing about it, a little scared by it, don't know how to use it, addicted to it, and quite possibly just annoyed with how much it has taken over our world. But for all the technological advancements, how are we, as humans, as followers of Jesus, in control of what the world wants us to be addicted to? How are we in control of the media that we consume, the news outlets that we allow in our house, the apps that we let on our kids' phones? How are we in control of all of that? Genesis 1:27 through 28, we've been using this verse this whole series. It says, so God created man in his own image, in the image of God. He created him, male and female, he created them. And God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. There's a few different things here that we've talked about already, but I want to look at this phrase. What does it mean to subdue something? The Hebrew word is kavash. Everyone say kavash. It means to rule over something, to hold under dominion or under a footstool, to literally hold it down. to have full control over what's going on. So all the things on the earth that have been created, right? We have order. We have the mandate from God to rule over it. The field, the grass, the animals, our kids, the technology in our world. We are the ones that are supposed to be in control over it, to subdue it, to kibosh it. Ask yourself, do you have control over the way you and your household use technology? Do you know what your kids are looking at on their social media apps? Do you find yourself wondering, how in the world did this video get on my feed? What is this random ad for? And more specifically, do we have control over just what we're watching? The things that can seem innocent. We watched The Little Rascals in the car not long ago, and I was like, man, I don't remember this like in here. Like, maybe I'm just getting old and just grumpy. But I don't remember the kids being that mean. They're kind of mean. I don't remember the sexualization of the little kid just wanting a kiss from the race car driver. Like, I don't remember that. But now I'm watching it back and I'm like, dang, we gotta really worry what our kids are watching. And that's The Little Rascals. I remember back in February I said, we have to be in control of the content we allow ourselves to consume, not the other way around. We can't be consumed by what we're allowing into our house, the media that we're allowing on our phones. It's far too easy for the norm to become the norm just because it's the norm. I remember growing up when the iPhone 4 came out, it was like my freshman year of high school, and I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I just have to have one because everyone else does. Right? And we've all done it, like whether it's a boat, a golf club, golf set, whatever. We've all been there where like we just need that, right? That's become like a new norm, or upgrading your phone every 2 years. Like that's the norm. Watching American Idol on Monday night or whatever, like that was the norm for a while. Like moving to Netflix, like that was the norm. Everyone's doing it, so we should too, right? That's at least what culture is pushing on you. Everyone's doing it, just do it. Right? And you can say the old adage, well, if your friend would jump off the bridge, would you do it too? We have. Right? We've accepted it as norm that everywhere you go, you need your cell phone. You need to be connected to everyone in this world. 3 billion people are on Facebook. That's almost half the world population. Quick survey, how many of you guys are on Facebook? Yeah, don't be ashamed. You can put your hand up. Right? It's normal for us. It's just like, I find myself saying often, hey, I was watching this video on YouTube. Or hey, I saw this reel on Instagram. Or hey, I was looking at this article I found on Facebook. Right? I find that creeping into my everyday conversation. It's become norm. Technology, right? We are no longer awestruck of what the wheel does for us day in and day life. We just get in our car and we go. We don't even wonder about how this operates until it doesn't operate anymore, right? We just do it. Turning on water. We don't even think twice about turning on water until it doesn't work, right? The technologies in our life, we take for granted until they don't work. Technology, it's around us. It's all around us, for better or for worse. And we have a huge problem in this world today. It's addicting, right? It's a gross addiction. It's one of the leading causes in anxiety, depression, modern-day bullying, porn addiction, gambling addiction, attention issues, marital issues, shopping addictions, children's attention deficit disorder, and it literally fits in my back pocket. Right? It's crazy. I can spend thousands of dollars on Amazon, go bet on a sports game, go watch something I probably shouldn't, all on the same device. It's crazy. Dr. Jim Dennison says this. He writes, it's the modern global public square, talking about social media, where we cast blame, shower with praise, and fight all without meeting face to face. We are sexually solicited by bots fighting for clicks to pornographic sites, and then inspired by a Bible verse transposed over a mountain range, all on the same platform. Isn't that just wild to think about for a second? All within the same platform. You could just be scrolling and you're like, that's a weird ad. I like that verse. It's crazy. Dr. Andrew Huberman says this when talking about social media. He says it's very close to gambling. This design functions the same way a slot machine does. We even swipe down with our fingers as though we're pulling a digital lever. Instead of money in exchange for an unlikely payout, we gamble hours for small rewards of dopamine. You ever thought about using social media like a slot machine? That's wild. Math lesson real quick. You get a history lesson and a math lesson today. You're welcome. If you spend 2 hours a day just on your phone in front of a screen, doesn't matter what kind of screen, TV, phone, whatever, 2 hours a day consuming media, it's around 60 hours a month. 60 hours a month. How many of you guys have ever said in the last month, I don't have time for that? Yeah, there's 60 hours we could have back. Let's keep it going. 2 hours a day, multiply that by 365 days in a year. That's 730 hours a year. Do the math. Divide that by 24 for hours in a day. 30 whole days. 30 whole days. Just from watching 2 hours a day. That's it. 8% of our year. We would kill for 8% of our year back, wouldn't we? We're the most rushed society that's ever lived. The most busy society ever. People that don't know which way from up is down and down is up. Because we're busy. Are we? Are we wasting our time? 2 hours is probably being generous, honestly, because from 18 to like 85, you know how much we actually spend on social media and TV and all that kind of stuff? Closer to 3.5 to 4 hours a day. That's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. So, what am I saying? Am I saying go home, throw away your TV, throw away your phones, go back to flip phones, go back to pagers, go back to payphones? Maybe. Maybe not. I think we just have to reframe how we view our modern day technology. Are we the ones that are being controlled by our technology, or are we the ones that are controlling how we use it? I want to give us a few quick tips today because this can sound like a rant, and if it sounds like I'm ranting, probably because I am. To me, technology is just a huge issue. It's so overwhelming. I feel like I could literally just stand here and talk for like 2 hours. Not going to. You're welcome. But it's so vast, and it is just mind-blowing. So disclaimer, I am in no way, shape, or form an expert or perfect at any of these things that I'm about to tell you. I wish I was, because it would make my life so much better. But 2 questions you got to ask yourself first before you ever implement any of these tips. How are we being impacted by our phones and media? How are you being impacted by your phones and media? Do you even think about it? Do you just go on and accept the norm? And how do we be less influenced by them? 2 great questions. It's a great place to start. A few things. All right. Real practical. Number 1, set app limits on your phone. This single-handedly has changed my social media use. I get 30 minutes a day on Facebook and Instagram, and Stacy, my wife, is the only person on this planet that knows the passcode to give me more time for those apps. So if she goes, so goes my extra time. See where my brain goes? It's terrible, isn't it? I don't want Stacy to go anywhere. I love her. But do it. We've done it for her too. She gets like 20 minutes, I think, a day for Instagram or something like that. This literally took my phone media consumption from like 6 hours a day, which is horrible, down to like 2. Just that. I got 4 extra hours a day. It's amazing what I can do. Second, put your phones to bed like you put yourself to bed. Find a little place out in your living room, whatever. Get a little cubby, get a little phone blanket, right? You can plug it in, tuck it, say a little prayer over it, tell it good night, say I don't want to see you till the morning. Right? Call it a charging station. Call it whatever you want. Put it outside your bedroom. Put your phones to bed, just like you put your kids to bed. Don't let it control you. To me, and I wish we were better at this, the phone has no place in the bedroom. It just doesn't. There's no reason it needs to be in there, no reason it should be. Again, we're not perfect at it. I wish we were. How many nights have you gone to bed where you just see your partner just doom scrolling, and you're like, I think I have things to talk about. Third, get an old alarm clock instead of using your phone. The phone has a lot of great purposes. An alarm clock is not one. How many of us, the first thing we do in the morning, goes off? Right? It's within arm's reach of us. And then we pick it up, and we doom scroll Facebook for a few minutes, finally get out of bed, go to the bathroom, go back, doom scroll some more. Right? It's so culturally accepted that that's the first thing that we do in the morning. Get an old alarm clock, put it on the other side of the room, get out of bed, go outside, breathe some fresh air. As the kids say today, go touch some grass. That's just what they say. Don't shoot the messenger. Fourth, limit yourself to the screen time you would for your kids. How many parents, how many of you guys have screen time limits for your kids? Have you ever tried to do that to yourself? All right, buddy, you can watch 30 minutes a day, that's it. You try watching 30 minutes a day. It's a lot harder than it sounds, but we have to be the ones that are setting the example for our kids. If we don't want our kids to be ingrained with technology, again, it's a part of the world. We are going to use it. How much control over it do you have? Right? That's the whole point of this. Do you have control over it? Set yourself to the same limits that you would your kids. Just be consistent. Be consistent. And then finally, ask yourself, what's most important to you and your family? I guarantee if we surveyed this entire church, hey, what's most important to you and your family in life? I guarantee 100% confidence, maybe not after this, none of you would say scrolling through social media feeds with each other. Guarantee it. And honestly, I bet the percentage of people that would say even watching a movie together would be pretty low. Ask yourself, what is most important to me and my family? A Friday movie night with popcorn and snacks? I'm for it. I am all for it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, movie night? A little less for it. What is most important to you and your family? And how is your technology involved in all of it? Those are just a few things. At the bottom of your bulletin, I put some book resources. Totally would recommend reading those. You're gonna say, "Wow, James, there's a lot more that you didn't cover." I know, trust me. And in this world that we live in, all those what ifs kind of start playing into your head, right? Like when it comes to setting all these boundaries. Like, what if the house burns down in the middle of the night and I need to call 911? Well, if you put your phone to bed in the same place every single night, you know where your phone is. What if I miss something on Facebook, like a grad party invite or whatever? I'm not saying you have to delete Facebook. Check it less. Just check it less. What if someone needs me in the middle of the night for an emergency? Ask yourself, when was the last time someone genuinely needed you in the middle of the night for an emergency? And if that's still a concern, take your phone off vibrate. Put a ringer on it. I'm speaking from personal experience, right? I used to be the person that I needed the TV on to fall asleep to it, right? That was me. Been there, done it. Now, literally, if something is in going on or in the house or whatever, I'm super grumpy. I'm like, what is that noise? I can't fall asleep. Completely shifted. I went from again, not perfect in this, wish I was. I went from waking up, checking my social media first thing in the morning, concerned what was going on in the world around me, more the concern than it was what was going on in my house. How my kids were, right? Worried about what was happening on the other side of the world, people that I really don't have any contact with or anything like that. We were not created to consume the amount of content that is out there, right? It's like a fire hydrant just being connected to our brain. That's what social media and modern day technology is. It is just media. Hey, look at this. Hey, look at this. Hey, look at this. It is exhausting to us. We were not created for that. There are 1,001 excuses not to do these things. It is so easy to fall victim that this is the new normal. That the technology in our world is what we have, whether you like it or not. No, we have something we can say about it. If it sounds like I'm beating up on technology, I am. I think we are way too dependent on it. I think we consume way too much media. I think we have access and connections to things that we were never meant to have access to. There's a very, very dark side to technology. Very dark side. I'm going to share just a quick 2 stories in just a second, but parents of teenagers, grandparents, if you have kids with teenagers, I want to express something this morning. It's going to sound really harsh, but I promise it's out of love and concern. Your 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14-year-old, I would say even a lot of 15 and 17-year-olds, do not need social media. They don't need it. I bet if I asked the adults in this room, I guarantee almost all of you wish that you never started it. They don't need Facebook. They don't need Instagram. Parents, if you have kids that are in that young range and they have Snapchat and TikTok, as a person that cares for them, as a person that cares for you as a parent, and just as one of your pastors, you are in the control seat as the parent. Your kid does not need TikTok and Snapchat. I just read this literally yesterday. We think Netflix is like the world's biggest problem, like people just watching too much Netflix. Last year, this just came out, 9.7 trillion minutes were spent watching Netflix last year. Absolutely mind-boggling. I get it. You know how much time was spent on TikTok? 22.1 trillion minutes. Holy cow. Snapchat and TikToks are easily 2 of my least favorite apps that your kids could have on their phone. The amount of TikTok trends I see that have led to students getting expelled for doing things like smacking their teachers in inappropriate places, taking doors off of bathroom stalls at school, flushing things down the toilet at school. I'm going to share 2 stories of kids that have actually died or committed suicide from TikTok challenges or things they saw on social media. Here's those 2 stories. A 12-year-old Tristan Casson in Cleveland, Ohio, was found dead after one day finding a TikTok challenge called Blackout. The challenge where he was scrolling through his feed, the challenge involved kids choking themselves until they black out. That day in December, Tristan Casson was found dead by his sibling in his room from a TikTok trend. This is disgusting. It's horrible. Tyson Benz was at home when he saw social media posts, this is in 2017, indicating that his 13-year-old girlfriend had committed suicide. The posts were a prank, but the 11-year-old boy apparently believed them. Moments later, his mother found him hanging by the neck in his room in Marquette, Michigan. This is the sad reality that we live in as parents and caregivers in charge of our kids. We have to tell them, no, I don't care if it's the norm. That TikTok is so cool and so trendy. It is harmful in more ways than I even care to list out. It is horrible. The amount of unsolicited, unsupervised time our kids spend on social media when no one is looking. You don't know what your kids are looking at. These parents, were both interviewed, and they thought my kid was fine with social media. Now they're on the other end. Right now they're telling people, get your kids off of it. Get your kids off of it. I'm here to tell you, get your kids off of it. If we want to see our relationship with social media and technology change in our kids, it starts with us. Okay? We have to be the ones that take a look at our media consumption, our own lives. Our kids model what they see. If they see us constantly looking at our phones, our TVs, our computers, what do you think they're going to want to do? 1 Corinthians 10:31 says, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. Do you ever think about the different media outlets or technology consumption in your house as being glorifying to God? The way we utilize technology, are we utilizing it or are we idolizing it? Proverbs 4:23, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. How are you guarding your heart, your family's heart, when it comes to social media and technology and the content that's allowed in your house? Technology is all around us. We have to be the ones in control of it, not the other way around. When it comes to technology, may we be people that are set apart from what is considered normal. May we be people that use it wisely, that know what is coming into our house. May we have a kibosh over it. May we subdue the technology we use. I know we can do better. I think we have to do better. To me, this is one of the biggest cultural issues of our day. How are we controlling our technology? Let me pray for us. God, in every single one of our houses, we have technology. We have media. We have phones. Our kids use it. May we have better boundaries set up around the technology that we use. Personally, as families, all of it. Would you guide us in our decision-making and asking us what's most important to us? To have healthy conversations around technology, to have other people supporting us in our decisions and what we do. Lord, I think back to you created Adam and Eve in a garden, just outside. Just pure bliss of enjoying what you created. May we be people that are not so addicted to a screen that lights up. Lord, be with us and challenge us this week. It's in your Son's name we pray. Amen.